I have basically maxed out almost all the upgrades except for the faster breakable spawning. I maxed out my egg. I have a level 200 max pet over here. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Pet Sim 99 video. Today part 2 of the slime factory event was released and they added a ton of stuff, so I'm obviously going to go over absolutely everything you need to know about this update, everything they added, as well as all the enchants boosts and just general tips and tricks that will help you progress in this update as fast as possible. But before I do that, thank you all so much for getting me to 35,000 subscribers. Now to celebrate, I will be hosting the massive 50+ huge pet giveaway this video. And if you want a chance to win one of these huge pets, all of the giveaway information will be in the description. Now keep in mind, when I reach 40,000 subscribers, I will be upping the ante and be doing a 100 huge pet giveaway. So if you enjoy this video or just want us to reach our giveaway milestones as fast as possible, make sure to like and subscribe. And I often see people wondering how I'm able to afford these giveaways. Well, the diamond methods that I show you guys, I don't just make videos on them, I actually take advantage of them. So every time I'm finding the best method, I'm also farming it myself and getting tons of diamonds every single event. So as you can see, I have 40 billion diamonds just sitting here, as well as I always have at least a few boxes full of hundreds of pets for giveaways. And you guys are also incredibly generous, so I do also get a ton of pets and diamonds from the mailbox, which also goes straight back into low tier huges for the giveaways. So I obviously know I'm in a very fortunate position and I have a ton of stuff, so that's why I just like to make sure I give back every video and do these insane giveaways for you guys. Before I get into the video, I did also just create a X or Twitter account not too long ago, and I will be posting here like updates on my videos and just behind the scenes stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely go follow, and the link will be linked in the description. Okay, so today part 2 of the slime factory update came out, and before I go over any of the tips and tricks, I do want to go over everything that they added. Now I spent the last hour or so grinding the event and have already managed to get myself pretty far through this update. I have basically maxed out almost all the upgrades except for the faster breakable spawning. I maxed out my egg. I have a level 200 max pet over here, and so far I do think this update is pretty good for an expansion of the last update, and I'm excited to see just how profitable farming this update will be. So keep in mind, I will definitely be uploading the best diamond making method for this event either later today or tomorrow. But with that being said, they added a ton of stuff. So as you can see, they did add a few new stat pets in the egg. You do have to go through the old ones first and then upgrade to the new ones. They also did add a slime machine. This machine, basically, as you're breaking breakables, you will get slime, which will fill up the slime jars behind it. And once it's 100% complete, you will not only have your chance of getting a Titanic pet, but also a huge pet, and then a few of the slime gifts. Now, these gifts are actually pretty good because inside these slime gifts, you actually have a pretty good chance at getting some of these tier 1 boosts, as well as a decent chance at the tier 2s and a not so great chance at the tier 3s. But these are going to make getting the factory boosters a lot easier because of how easy these gifts are to get and how high of a percentage getting the boosts actually are. Now you can also upgrade the Titanic and huge chance inside the slime machine, and that can be done by using the slime chance juicer over here. Now this does cost slime tokens, which you can get from just farming the breakables, and honestly they are pretty easy to get, so whether or not treasure hunter works or not on actually getting these doesn't really matter. I've been farming for about an hour and you gain a lot more than you're actually losing as time goes on. So as long as you're just refilling this every once in a while, you will never run out of these slime tokens. Now, besides that, they did refresh the huge chest with 2 new huge pets. These huge pets actually do look pretty cool, and I'm excited to actually get my hands on a few of these jelly kitsunes. But they also did add a new Titanic pet as well, the Titanic jelly kitsune, which also looks really cool. Now, other than that, they did add a couple more conveyors and a few new levels to the pets, and then they added a new race leaderboard, as well as a new breakable huge pet. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to get huge pets and make tons of profit in this update. Over the next day or so, I will be testing out the best way to actually farm this event to give yourself the best chance at getting a ton of huge pets, gifts, and diamonds. But today I do want to just go over the general tips and tricks that I have for this update to help you progress just as fast as I did. Now, quickly before I get into the upgrades and stuff, there is a strategy to progressing in this factory as fast as possible. Now, as you're doing this, take advantage of all the other tips that I will be showing later on. But when you're progressing your factory, it may be tempting to buy all of the pets and fill up your conveyor belts with all of these low level pets. Now, believe it or not, this is not beneficial. As you can see, when I break the breakables in the area with these low level pets here, they're just going to start spawning low level breakables, meaning your coins, the amount of coins that you're earning, is going to plummet to the ground once all of your high tier breakables are gone. So as you can see, my coins right now is plummeting to the ground because all of the low tier breakables are taking up space inside the breakable area. So when you're doing this, start with one pet at a time and completely max it out or get it very close to max before you buy your next pet. Having one pet along with maybe a factory speed booster 1 or 2 and the faster conveyor upgrade as well as the faster breakable upgrade maxed out is going to be more than enough to fill up your breakable area faster than you can actually break the breakables yourself up until you get a really good stat pet. So yeah, when you're building your factory, start with one pet at a time, max it out first, and then move on to the next. Now, I do want to talk about the upgrades. So when it comes to upgrades, eventually you will easily be able to max out pretty much all of them except for the faster breakable spawning. This one does get pretty expensive, as you can see. However, you are definitely going to want to start with the ones that are going to help you in your factory. So the better chest loot, better huge luck, anything that's going to increase your loot or huge chance or titanic chance, as well as even the slime machine upgrades are not going to be very beneficial up until you have the other ones maxed out. So definitely focus on the more damage, more breakables, faster breakable spawning, faster conveyor, and more coins first. Try to get them all maxed out or very close to maxed out as you are building your factory before you start focusing on any of the other upgrades. Now moving on to always the most annoying section of the video, the enchant. Now if you watched my video last week, the enchants for this event really depends on what you're struggling with. However, I'm going to go over the enchants that do work and the enchants that don't work, and then I'll be giving a general guide on what you should be using depending on your needs, like whether you need damage or whether you have enough damage and you just need to break the breakables as fast as possible. So in this event, the enchants that do not work or are pretty useless are diamonds. You earn very little to no diamonds while you're farming in this breakable area, so you do not want to waste an enchant slot with those. Lucky eggs, you will only want to include in your loadout as you are opening the eggs. So I do have a separate enchant loadout here that I use when I'm opening eggs, but it will be very useful when you are planning on hatching to have it in your enchant loadout so you can get some of these rarer stat pets. The same thing goes for super shiny hunter and rainbow egg, as well as the normal shiny hunters. If you have any of those and you are planning on hatching the egg, definitely make sure you include those in your enchant loadout, but not as you're actually farming the factory itself. Now, besides that, treasure hunter, it may work, may not work. The only really good item that you're going to get from farming inside this breakable area is going to be the slime tokens. And even without any treasure hunters in your loadout, as you can see, I pretty much already have enough to max out the huge and titanic chance. And I'm getting more than enough than it's actually taking as time goes on. So including a treasure hunter in your loadout, whether or not it works, is just going to be a waste of an enchant slot. Now, the double coins enchant apparently does work. It is 3 billion diamonds, and in my opinion, it's not worth it unless you're going for a leaderboard. However, the regular coin enchant itself seems to not work. Now, I'm currently making around 30 million coins a second, 36-ish. And if I put on 2 coins enchant, theoretically, I should see my coins increase by like 3 times. But as you can see, with it on, I'm not really gaining many coins at all, and it's not doing anything at all. So including it in your enchant loadout is also not going to be very useful because it either doesn't work or it works very little. Now, I do also want to mention chest breaker. Now, chest breaker was useful during the last event because the last breakables were chests, but in this event you do have to break some chests as you are leveling up your pets. But once you reach the max pet, the only breakables you're going to be getting are the tanks and sometimes the noobs. And as you can see, without chest breaker on, I do about 300 billion damage per hit. And then with chest breaker on, I'm doing about 300 billion damage per hit, obviously without a crit. So chest breakers are not going to be useful in this event. Now, besides that, most of the other enchants do work. Now, the notable mentions are criticals. Criticals is going to be very useful to help you do damage. Strong pets also does work and does increase your pet damage. Magic orbs and nightmare orbs also do work and are pretty useful, as well as tapping enchants once again are incredibly OP in this event. Now, tap power does work, and as you can see, when I have tap power on and I'm tapping the breakables are breaking incredibly fast. So tapping once again is going to be very important for doing damage in this event, meaning using a couple tap powers is also going to be important, as well as using other tap enchants such as large taps, which apparently does stack. So using 2 or 3 of these is also pretty useful, as well as a super lightning or a tap blast will also be pretty nice. Now, super lightning is in my opinion a little better, so I would use this before tap blast, but if you don't have super lightning, then use tap blast instead. And then also speed enchants do work. As you can see, my pets move like kind of fast. They're a little slow getting to where they're going. If you put on 2 speed 5 enchants as well as a happy pet enchant, as you can see, the pets are moving a lot faster when they are getting to the breakables, which will ultimately increase the amount of breakables that you're able to break over the same period of time if you are doing enough damage to insta break them. If you're not insta breaking them, they're not going to be useful. So with that being said, there are, in my opinion, around 3 different kind of enchant loadouts you should be making. Now, if you're struggling with damage and do not want to be tapping and you don't have auto tap, then your enchant loadout should look similar to this. Now, obviously, the nightmare orbs can be swapped out with some normal magic orbs. If you're not going to be tapping, then definitely focus on enchants that are going to help you with your damage, as well as enchants that are going to help you output as much damage as possible. Now, ideally, if you're struggling with damage, you are going to want to be tapping, and you're going to want to be using some tapping enchants instead. Now, you're still going to want the base enchants of 2 strong pets as well as a criticals. Your enchant loadout is going to look something like this. Now, obviously, 2 tap powers is going to be very important, as well as 1 or 2 large taps. I prefer using 2, but it's up to you. And then a super lightning or a tap blast or anything else that is going to help your taps do more damage per tap, as well as affect more breakables. And then if you eventually get a really good stat pet from the egg and you're able to almost insta break the breakables in this area, you're no longer going to want to focus on damage. You're going to want to probably still use maybe a few strong pets and criticals, but other than that, you're going to want to be focusing on speed. So I would switch to using a few speed 5s as well as a happy pets. And then at this point, you are probably doing a ton of damage. So you're going to want to focus on doing the most amount of damage output. So if you are going to tap, maybe use some large taps as well as a super lightning, or you can also use some orb enchants. Those are both going to help you hit a ton of breakables. So I know that is a lot of info. Now, to help you build your enchant loadout, there is a really useful enchant builder online to help you see the thresholds of these certain enchants. But here is on screen a little summary of what kind of enchants you should be using depending on your needs, since it will obviously vary on your enchant slots as well as your pets and your damage. Before I continue, I do need to quickly check my mailbox. The mail has absolutely been piling up and there is a ton of stuff in there. But if you want to donate to me using the mailbox, my username is loopedmuffin_rbx. Once again, all the gifts that you guys send me, I really do appreciate, and they do go back into low tier huges for the giveaways. However, I do only tend to shout out anything over 5 million diamonds in wrap or any exclusive pets just to save time in the videos. Thank you so much, Davis World, for the golden huge mining penguin, as well as thank you, Traffic, for the googly corgi. And thank you again, Davis World, for the huge minecart hamster. Thank you very much. Now, thank you so much, Me versus TV, for the 15 huge pets. I am absolutely blown away. You are so generous. Once again, all these will be going back into giveaways, and I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for all the kind messages. You are so generous. Thank you. And then thank you, Kalahari, for the huge arcade dog, as well as thank you, Rox Mob, for the 5 huge mining monkeys, and 2 of them are golden, so thank you very much. The 1 PSX YouTuber for the huge point setup peacock. Now, Kalahari99, you are so unbelievably generous. Thank you so much for all of these pets, like rainbow huge pets, 300 million diamonds. Now, thank you so much for all of this. Once again, you guys do not have to send me anything. You guys just watching the videos is more than enough, but I really appreciate the generosity. And this, once again, will all be going back into low tier huge pets for giveaways. So thank you so much, but you do not have to feel obligated to do this, but thank you. Absolutely insane. And also thank you for the 4 chest breakers as well as the 3 huge hunters. You are absolutely insane. Thank you so much for all of this. Now, moving on to the other diamond gifts. Thank you so much, 9 Lives, for the 10 million diamonds, as well as Pumpkin Danger for the 5 million diamonds, and Fresh for the 5 million diamonds, as well as Mimas for the 7 million diamonds, as well as Vexed Already for the 5 million diamonds, and Fiery Throne for the 5 million diamonds, as well as Steph for the 500 million diamonds. Thank you so much. That is absolutely insane. Thank you. As well as 511KC for the 500 million diamonds. Now, I probably won't be making a video on that anytime soon, just because the events are really the most important thing in the game right now. But if they do end up coming up with a new world, I will definitely go over an updated guide for enchants, ultimates, etc. But thank you so much. Now, with that all being said, please guys, once again, do not feel obligated to donate to me. I really do appreciate everything you guys give me, but you guys are so incredibly generous. It is actually insane. Once again, all of this will be going back into giveaways for you guys, but I have a ton of diamonds, so please only give things that you guys do not need. Just please, you guys watching the video is more than enough, but thank you so much. Okay, moving on to boosts. Once again, all of the boosts do show up in the bottom left here. However, none of them really provide a useful boost except for the apples, as well as the toy bones, the toy ball, and the squeaky toy. Now, obviously, if you have any of the other boosts, make sure you're using them, but the apples, the squeaky toy, the toy ball, and the toy bone are going to be the ones that are actually going to help you during this event, as well as the rainbow fruits for the added damage from the apples. With that being said, the only potions that are going to be really useful are also going to be the damage potions, obviously for damage, as well as cocktails for the damage and the egg luck, and then the lucky potions for the egg luck as well. Now, the luck is really just going to be important when you're hatching, but the damage is going to be important when you're farming the breakables in this event. Now, besides that, there are obviously the factory damage boosters, factory speed boosters, and factory coin boosters. These are all going to be pretty useful to help you speed up the process of actually farming in this event. Now, honestly, they're not crucial unless you're going to be going for leaderboard. And even then, I don't think it's really worth it for the amount of boosts that you're going to have to use. But the price of these boosts will go down now that you're able to get them from the slime gifts, and the slime gifts are so easy to get. So once the price of these boosts actually drop down quite a bit, I would definitely recommend maybe investing in some of the tier 1s just to help you progress a little more in this event, but it's definitely not mandatory. And then quickly talking about the pets once again are going to be very important in this event. You definitely want to make sure that you're at least using a full team of stat pets from this event world. Now, these pets do a ton more damage than any other stat pet from any other event, so you definitely want to make sure you have some of these. And then if you can, try to use at least a full team of low tier exclusive pets, or maybe even a full team of huge pets. And if you are using a team of huge pets, definitely try to make sure they are a team of golden huge pets. They're basically the same price, but the variant of the huge pets do provide a slight boost in damage. Now, with that being said, charms are also pretty useful, so if you can, definitely make sure you're using some strength and royalty charms, as well as maybe even a lightning charm or a TNT charm. I'm not sure if these two work, but I tend to stick with the strength and royal charms just to be safe. But yeah, pets are going to be extremely important when it comes to actually dealing damage in this event, so definitely make sure you're getting your hands on some of these rarer stat pets using your lucky egg enchants as you are actually hatching, allowing you to do a ton of damage. Okay, so yeah, that is basically everything you need to know about this update, as well as a ton of tips and tricks that will help you progress in this update as fast as possible. Now, like I said before, just from glancing at this update and all the different things that you can get from AFK farming, I do think farming this event is going to be incredibly profitable. So we'll be testing out the best methods to actually do this over the next few hours, maybe even day. And then I will be uploading a video on the best method within the next day or so. So keep an eye out on that if you really want to know how to farm this event as effectively as possible. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did just make a X or Twitter, and if you want updates on how that video is going, definitely go follow me on there as well. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to reach 40,000 subscribers. We'll be hosting another massive 100 huge pet giveaway on Pet Sim 99. But with all that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day and good luck grinding. Congrats to this user for being the first person to comment on my last Pet Sim 99 video with the Roblox username. You have won yourself a free huge pet. I do this kind of giveaways every single video, so if you want a chance to be the first commenter and win yourself a free huge pet, make sure to turn on post notifications to be notified when I upload. It's time to roll the winners of the giveaway from my last Pet Sim 99 video. Since this video got very close to reaching 1,000 likes and reached the first like goal of 500 likes, I'm just going to say it did reach 1,000 likes, so we're going to add an extra 10 huge pets to the giveaway for a total of 20 huge pets. As always, usernames of all the winners will be shown on screen at the end of this time lapse. Congratulations to all of the winners.